This is a big thing, and I want to talk about this too. And I'm going to kind of sort of balance between two different things here. NCAA playoff says Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa all looked average today. The Big Ten West is up for grabs. And I'm looking at, and somebody else said it too, and I'm looking at it. We're tied for first place right now in the Big Ten West.
Yes.
I mean, again, it goes back to what we've been saying this entire time. It's not talent; it's about the management of that talent and the coaching of it. Right? We haven't really pushed them in this, right? Another individual here, Aaron Ross Moosen here says, if Frost had been on the sidelines, not only would Corcoran have waltzed into the locker room without hearing a word about his idiotic play, but we also would have lost the game by 3 touchdowns as well, right? And that kind of goes back to kind of what we were talking about here. Another comment here says by Kyle Beggs, biggest improvement, finding a way to finish the game. When the score hit 21-21, who would you have bet on in the past 7 years? Listen, I would have bet my mortgage on it, on the other team, just simply because that's how the Scott Frost era has been defined, right? Close games in Big Ten play. You can't figure out a way to win it. Hell, I can't even tell you the last time that we won an actual Big Ten game by double digits. That's the big thing here. That's what the fan base wants to see. And, to still sort of a Southern word here, Mickey Joseph, I mean, man, he brought that juice tonight, right? Yep. He brought that juice. Now, against Oklahoma, it was a little misguided, and I think that he was kind of set up to fail there simply because, it was a short week. He's gotten the job. It's his first chance at his alma mater. There's a lot of emotions that go into it. I think even he said, like, hey, I didn't sleep at all, going into that. He settled down, he got that. And that's why I kind of talked about it. You give him an opportunity to go out against Oklahoma, a couple of weeks back. Yeah, he got his ass handed to him, and the team got their ass handed to him, like you kind of talked about, Chris. You were at that game. But they had a lot more emotion, right? With Scott, I just felt like it got to a point where he just sort of I don't want to say gave up, but it was almost like he kind of was like, I give up, right? And a part of that problem was, he had one of his best friends who he'd had some success with down at UCF, and Eric Shenander running our defense. And Shenander kind of got lucky because he got some really, really good players, in JoJo Dolman. He had
Cam Taylor-Britt.
He had, he had all of these good defensive players here, right? For, that ended up being like these super seniors and getting drafted into the NFL. Yep. And they actually, they actually just, lost him to the NFL. And then now this year, you're replacing those guys with a whole lot of young guys that don't have a lot of snaps at this level. I would say arguably probably the guys that have had the most snaps is, guys like O'Shawn Mathis, Reimer, Heinrich, Garrett Nelson, guys like that are the guys on defense that you're trying to replace them with. And, now all of a sudden, those guys, they're kind of quiet throughout the first part of this, and I think a lot of that's just because of the mentality that Frost had going into this, whether it was a spring game and just throughout practices was, we're not going to tackle. We're not going to really do that. Well, when you have a lot of young guys and you don't let them tackle, it becomes extremely difficult for them when they jump into a game-like scenario to understand how that really feels, right? It's tagging up on somebody and tackling is two completely different things there.
Yeah, no, jump in here, Christian. You're exactly right. You brought it up, man. I think that, playing young players, man, that's the biggest thing right now, right? People are going to say, hey, season's lost or whatever. And, okay, that's what you think is a season's lost, though. But, we haven't played younger players in the past. Scott Frost era, he played everybody that was, top tier starter, whatever, and the entire game. I could go through the whole Adrian Martinez thing, and I won't even get stuck on that guy, how he's tearing up the Big 12 right now. But you got to play guys. If you want to be good, look at Alabama, look at Ohio State, look at Georgia. Those guys are rotating kids in that are freshmen, whether they're sophomores, whether they've been sitting for 2 years or 1 year. If you got guys like that are great. But I thought tonight, and some of these guys posting this thing right now, last double-digit win against a Big Ten team last year against Northwestern. He's exactly right. That was the one game when you brought it up. Like, that's the last time I can think that we blew somebody out. We beat them, 56-7 or some shit like that. Fine, but if you take that game out of out of the realm, I mean, when was it? You know what I mean? Like, it's been a while. And I want our guys, young guys, to sit there and get in meaningful games. Like last week, I was at the Oklahoma game. Purdy got in, man. He got some scrub time, but those are reps. Those are game reps. Those are guys that are getting in there playing, doing something, man. Because, like, your program's success is not always just based on 1 year. It's young guys getting playing time, and then when those seniors leave or whatever, and guys that go to the NFL like Cam Taylor-Britt, other guys stepping in and they're not actually rookies. They've had some experience. They've had some playing time. They've had, game reps. And that's the thing with Nebraska right now, man. I feel like every year almost feels like a rebuilding year. And I hate to say that word, but it kind of feels like that. It's like, God, defense this year. It's like we've been just down in the dumps. It's like, shit. Like Nelson played well tonight. I thought the guys actually did a good job, but it's like, we don't have a lot of guys out there that we really know their names. You know what I mean? There's a couple guys out there like, man, okay. And I thought, Reimer's the guy that we knew from last year. He played well tonight. That interception he made was crazy great. But it's about coaching, and it's about putting those guys in the right position. And I think it's also scheme. It's guys buying in, and that's part of the whole deal with football. Anybody that follows college football knows that, especially college football is just like one of those things where you buy into a coach, you buy into the team, you buy into your own players, and you play hard, and you're in the right positions to make the right plays, And I'm not sitting here going to harp on Scott Frost, but it's like, I just felt like Mickey's one of those guys, man. If you guys don't know, man, like just listen to the guy talk. Like, if it doesn't motivate you hearing him talk, like, I think you don't have a pulse. Like, it's like this guy just like wants to win, and he truly, truly cares about the program. And I couldn't imagine being like a player right now, like listening to him talk in the locker room. You know what I mean? Like, it motivates me, and I'm just an old guy right now. Like I listen to him, I'm like, holy shit! Like I would run through a brick wall for this guy. So like, these players got to buy in, man. I think they do, and I think that we need to give them, as a fan base and us, a chance to do this. And I thought this was a good win. We're kind of in the part of the schedule right now where I think we can rattle off like quite a few wins here. I think we're good enough teams to beat Indiana, Purdue, Rutgers, whoever the hell we're playing, and get some momentum behind us. Football is a momentum game anyway. You saw it tonight. We switched momentum several times by turning it over back and forth. We were tied 21 apiece. I thought the second half, I think we shut them out. We're there. We're not, like I said, I wish Nebraska fans were thinking that we're a 12-1 team. We're not, or should be. Just focus on what's now, man. We got a chance. Let the young guys play. And I thought Mickey's done a good job of putting, Gabe Irwin tonight. I thought Irvin, did a good job tonight. You know what I mean? I thought he rushed the ball very well. 6 carries for only 21 yards. We're putting him in. I know Anthony or what's his bucket isn't there right now. AJ Allen isn't there right now, but like, play those young guys. Give these guys a shot. I love the fact we brought Yan in inside the 5. We all know he's a big, big dude, pounded in for a touchdown. Like, I thought that was awesome. He's giving guys chances to prove themselves in situations where I was like, dude, come on. Like I like that about him. I don't think Scott would have done that. I don't. I think he would have ran the ball, probably passed it, 3 times, ran out of the shotgun inside the 3. I mean, that's what he does. He does that spread. Thought we pounded the ball super early with the game, right off the rip. Like, I love that about him. That's one thing I love about, this whole offense now is I think it's changed. I think that we're like focusing on the players and the talent that you have in those players and what they're good at, and specialize in what their actual talents are. You know what I mean? We all know Yan is a big physical back. We pounded him inside the 10. I was really happy about that. It sounds really, really small, but it's like, you know what I mean? He hasn't played most of the year. We all know how that crazy game he had against Northwestern last year, Yant did. That said something to me. I was like, okay. Mickey gets it, right? We're going to pound the ball inside the 3 with him, run the ball. So, I mean, I'm happy about tonight's win. I really am. I know the score doesn't necessarily say that when you look at it from afar, but it's like that game should have probably been like a 42-7 game, 42-14 game, whatever you want to say, hypothetically. But like, I thought the way we played the game and handled the game tonight from a coaching standpoint, I thought the defense played well enough. They tackled better. Let's say that. Let's get that out there. They did. They tackled a hell of a lot better than they did the previous 3 weeks. So I'll leave it with you, Christian. Sorry to rattle on there, man, but I could get into about Mickey Joseph and just the way the team responded tonight after 2 weeks off. And I know it's Indiana, but I thought we responded well.